Welcome back to Conscious Truth. Right, I have to say the first time I saw Mark Sargent's Flat Earth Clues, I immediately saw that it was a PSYOP and that he is a shill. It's immediately obvious to me, and I'm surprised that other people in the Flat Earth community didn't notice that immediately. In this video, I'm going to go through, and following videos, I'm going to go through each of his Flat Earth Clues, part 1, 2, 3, 4, however many there are. And I'm going to break down exactly what it is that he's telling you in the video and why he's telling you it. If you haven't already seen Eric DeBay's video about Mark Sargent called Mark Sargent's Raging Shill Clues, I highly recommend watching that. Anyone who watches that for even the first 10 minutes and doesn't see that Mark Sargent is obviously a shill has got probably something, well, some kind of perception distortion or something, because it's so obvious, it's ridiculous. He's either a paid shill or he is someone who maybe just opportunistically thought he was going to make money out of making flat earth videos or something like that, but it's much more suspicious because of the sheer quantity of videos that he puts out, how quickly, doing all these interviews. Now he's at all these conferences, and I think he works together with Patricia Strier, whatever her name is, the donut lady. What's she called? Potato, the hot potato, the hot donut lady. They're obviously both in on it together, I think. And I'm surprised that people like Jeronism and Rob Skiba would share a stage with them, because they actually do. Rob Skiba and Jeronism both have really, really good content and do brilliant research. And compared to what Mark Sargent does, I mean, it's just no comparison. I mean, he just talks total gibberish. It doesn't even make any sense. I mean, I'll just play just a couple of little bits of Eric DeBay's video quickly.
And people, shouldn't listen to this ever again.
I've still got a raging clue.
How do we explain the movement of the sun across the sky and the equinox, solstices, seasons, and tides?
Got it. I'll lump it all up in one thing.
Okay.
Stars, planets, sun, moon. Okay. We'll break it in two sections real quick. Stars and the planets, they are projected. They are not there. They are a beautiful, beautiful image. You can look at them. I encourage people to go out and stare at the stars. They're great. The moon is being projected on. I do not know what the moon is, and a lot of people don't either. The sun appears to be a projection system of its own.
My clue's pointing over there now. Oh, let's follow that clue.
How far away?
I mean, just that on itself, I mean, if that doesn't tell you that he's just a complete BSer, I don't know. I mean, he's not showing you research he's done or any kind of scientific proof that he is, he's not proving anything. He's just making assertions, and just ridiculous assertions. The idea that the stars and the moon are projections is completely ridiculous, and no one in the flat earth community says anything like that. So he's just completely on his own with these strange opinions that don't make any sense. And all of a sudden people are talking about him as if he's some kind of expert in the subject. And people are recommending watching his Flat Earth Clues videos, which are just complete... Well, I think it's quite a clever PSYOP. I'll start off with his Flat Earth Clues number 1. Okay. So where do we start? So he starts off at 7 seconds. He as soon as he mentions the flat Earth, he calls it the enclosed system, which I think is very strange. And he shows this picture of what just looks obviously ridiculous. I mean, this is Flat Earth Clues number 1. So this is like his way of introducing the subject to people who don't know anything about it. And the way he chooses to do it is not by starting off by showing you things like, NASA, how they faked photos of Earth, like I have done on my channel, and talking about, just scientific thought experiments, that disprove how the Earth could be spinning or how the atmosphere rotates and stuff like that. he starts off by showing this cartoon, ridiculous picture of a sort of snow globe pancake thing floating in space, and immediately calls it the enclosed system, as if somehow that's what everyone in the flat Earth world thinks. I don't think that. I think that's ridiculous. And then I have to try and find these little links actually, because where is it? 7 seconds. I should have got this all queued up, but my internet's a bit slow. But anyway, let's see if it'll play.
The design of the flat Earth system we live in, and who has been involved in the deceptive Earth system we live in, and who get your head around both the design of the flat Earth system we live in.
Here it says the flat Earth system that we live in, and then shows this ridiculous picture. Okay, and then at 2 minutes 09, he says something else. Let's have a look at that.
Gravity. Then subconsciously, you're reinforcing the movie right on top of the real world. The more of the...
Yeah, he says the real world, just as this picture of the ball Earth comes up. He also is always he always holds a ball in his hand when he's talking to people. That's the other thing that he's famous for. In his interviews, he's always holding a ball Earth in his hand. He says the real world that we live in. Just as he says that, he shows the ball Earth.
Then subconsciously, you're reinforcing the movie right on top of the real world. The more of the... you're reinforcing the movie right on top of the real world.
Reinforcing the real world, he says. That's the kind of psychological PSYOP thing to do. And then the whole premise of this video, he talks in a very confusing way, and you have to watch it a few times to even really figure out what on earth he's actually talking about, because it's just so abstract and strange. He says something funny at 1 minute 40. He says, these are encouraged by the authority. The authority. That's a very strange phrase. I've never heard anyone talk about, conspiracy groups, like the Illuminati or something, as referred to them as the authority. I've never heard anyone else say that. It's quite a strange thing to say. And then he says that he basically talks about movies, different kinds of sci-fi movies, and he says that there's a few different types of sci-fi movies. He says that there's sci-fi movies which are based around kinds of space films, those that create a fantasy and those want to show our near future. Okay, and he talks about, movies like 2001 and Stanley Kubrick's movie. Basically, he talks in this kind of sort of foreboding sort of tone of voice, as if he's sort of revealing something amazing to you, but he's not revealing anything. He's just, all he said is that Hollywood makes space movies about things which are total fantasy. Yes, that's obvious. Okay, of course why wouldn't they do that? And about things that might be in the space future, in the future of mankind going into space. Okay, well, that's kind of obvious as well. And then he says, it's so strange that they don't make movies about actual real events. Okay, well, how many real events are there for them to make movies about? There aren't any, apart from the moon landings. And then he says, they did make Apollo 13 movie about the moon landing 12 years later. So what? Why is it strange that was made 12 years later? I don't see why that's strange at all. There's lots of movies about things in history that were made, quite a long time after they happened. I don't see any reason to think that's strange at all, that they only made a movie about it after 12 years. And he said, the reason they didn't do it is because if people saw people walking on the moon on a movie, they would think, if they're faking it now in the movie, then maybe they faked it for real. And this is all supposed to somehow explain that the Earth is flat? It's just bizarre. And then he says to summarize, all space movies are encouraged by authority, except those for ones based on actual accounts are not allowed. Well, if you think about it, if you were to make a movie about the space shuttle going up and fixing a satellite or something, I mean, that would be a really boring movie, right? Does it really surprise you they don't make movies about all the real space events that have happened? I mean, the only one that's even slightly interesting would be the moon landing, and they did make a movie about it, Apollo 13. Apart from, yeah, you're right, that wasn't the one that actually went to the moon, but it was about the moon Apollo program. Yeah, I mean, it is slightly strange that they haven't made a Hollywood movie about it, and yeah, most likely it is because, you know, as we're all aware, that the moon landings were fake. So, you know, the thing is with this is he's not making Flat Earth Clues Part 1 telling you all about how the moon landing was faked and showing you evidence, and so that you can see for yourself that the moon landing was faked. He's just basically gone on this weird tangent thing of talking about movies, and basically he's trying to basically say with this that he's proving to you that they didn't go to the moon because Hollywood didn't make a movie about it. I mean, that's his premise, if you think about it. If I was to summarize Flat Earth Clues Part 1 by Mark Sargent, okay, Mark Sargent is attempting to convince the public that NASA didn't go to the moon by his reasoning is that the thing that proves it the most important information for the public to know about is that Hollywood didn't make a movie about it. I mean, if that isn't just so obviously a PSYOP, how can you not see that? Why didn't he do a 10-minute long video showing you about everything that proves the moon landing is fake, if that's what he's trying to show you? He's not trying to show you that. It's obvious that he's trying to make it look like there's just flimsy ideas. That he's trying to make it look like the idea that the moon landing was faked is just a flimsy, stupid idea based on a wacko nutjob who thinks the Earth is flat, telling you that it didn't happen because Hollywood didn't make a movie about it. I mean, that's what this is designed to do, okay? Right, I'll move on to Flat Earth Clues Part 2 next.